Hey, everybody, it's Steve with Three Fat Truckers. We're sitting here at the Match Show 2024 in Louisville, Kentucky. Sitting here with me, as always, is my two best buds, Dave and Bill. How we doing, boys?
Fantastic.
And again, we have another beautiful lady with us.
Boy,
Man, we've hit it out of the box today with all kinds.
Who put the cologne on, huh?
I don't know,
I
ladies.
don't know, but I love cologne.
That's right.
I'm having a good hair day. Maybe that's what it
It's
is.
because
what
it's your
it is?
birthday.
Boy, I do smell pretty good.
I do smell pretty
Okay.
You weren't smelling very good last time.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, okay.
I was sweating bourbon. We're sitting here with this young gal. Her name is Dakota Polkowska, Springfields.
nailed it.
She's with Pink Cheetah Express. And she's here to talk about broker transparency. How are we doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Really good, really good. Why don't you, we were talking a little bit before we started here, give us a little rundown on what broker transparency is.
Broker transparency is where you would want to receive the information from the broker to find out what they got paid before they paid you on a load that you performed. So no one has ever asked for it, so no one really knows how to ask for it or how
So is
to
that
demand
something
it.
you want before you tell them, yes, I'll take the load? No, I won't take the load.
You're never going to get it beforehand, and no one's ever asked for it afterhand. I mean, they ask for it, but you're going to be blacklisted, and no one pursued it further than when they tell you no, or when they don't answer a phone call, or when you get blocked. That's like has been the end of it, but I pursued it.
Okay. And what did that get you?
That got me the rate transparency. How many months later? First, I went online and I found an organization that wrote a motion to a court or something, and it was James Lamb who had made this happen. And I got in contact with SBTC, Small Business and Trucking Coalition, and I told him the problem I was having at that time with that broker. And I said, I did a load. I only asked for a minuscule amount of money extra just to pay for my reefer fuel. And they told me, okay, let's see if we can get broker transparency. Ask them for this. I said, well, I've asked for it. I haven't gotten it. Now I'm not able to get through to them on the phone or through emails, and they're denying it. And they're telling me I can't get it. So I wrote with the help of SBTC to Senator Rick Scott of Florida. And I wrote with his help also a letter to Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who's the Secretary of the Department of Transportation.
Now, was this broker that you're dealing with out of Florida?
Not out, well, they have an office in Florida, but they're situated in Ohio, CQL.
So how did it become to contact him in Florida to help you?
How did they what?
How did it work as far as you contacting somebody in Florida to help you?
Nobody in Florida was going to help me because their office is in Ohio. You have to go to the main office where they are. And that was their regional load area where I was getting my load from. So after I made a complaint through the NCC, the FMCSA has the NCDB website, which is not very easy to get around, but I made a complaint through them. And through them, an investigator was attached to this complaint. And then through them, FMCSA denied it. And then I had to request that they not deny it and that they reopen the case. And that's when I got the assistance of Secretary Pete Buttigieg and my senator, and they pushed for it to get done. And then I received broker transparency after 3 days after it was requested from the investigator. And I learned that I got only 56%, which is a far difference from the truth of what they've been telling all of us from TIA and their broker groups and the brokers. They say they're giving us 84% as most of
Why
what
don't they
we're
want to give
getting.
you all of it?
You'll have to ask them, but I have an idea.
Revenue.
Well, it's revenue. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
want the revenue.
It's
They-
free money that you're not going to see.
Yes, and they say, hi, John, see you later. I'll talk to you later. So they're receiving, they say, a minimum of 16%, average, I mean, of 16%. And all I did was ask on that particular load, because I've been hauling for 9 years. I never asked for broker transparency before.
Mhm.
And I said, I need a little bit more on this load because I had to do a second drop and I had to unload myself by hand. It was midwinter, and I just asked for a little bit of money. And they said, no, that's all we have involved. And I said, okay, we'll see. Let's see the paperwork and we'll see if that's all you had involved or you're lying to me. And then I just won't do business with you again. So I learned that, of course, he was lying. He had a lot of money to make on it. And he doesn't have the overhead that we truckers have and the sufferings that we go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't making really a profit on it. And I had to dump, a lot of ice cream that wasn't my flavor into the dumpsters and
Oh.
garbage cans.
You don't
but
throw ice cream around with three
Well, now
fat
they're supposed to be
truckers
doing 84%, and they're saying they're only
they say that they're taking only
16.
averaging 16% as a margin, which a margin is really
So
a
they don't have
commission.
a set rate on what they take. It's
No,
adjustable.
they just say that that's what they are saying they're getting.
Now,
But
do
I
they
have right
say
now
in
proof
advance that it's
otherwise.
adjustable,
of what is adjustable.
that their rates are adjustable. Do they say that in advance before you take a load?
No, they give you the rate confirmation, and then they say if there's going to be detention, you have to just follow the rules. You have to call ahead of time. You have to
So-
let them know when you're
What
there,
time you're there.
sitting,
The
and
rate
that's what I do.
confirmation
play
is
that
that
game all
just
the
a
time.
Flat rate,
bottom number that says we're going to pay you $800.
right? Let's.
So that doesn't mean that $800 is the 84%.
It's going to be $800, and it doesn't mean it's 84% because I don't know what they're getting.
Exactly.
Right.
So when you said you did receive the receipt for that one,
I received broker
Only for that
transparency
one.
on that one, but at the moment when they called me, the investigator, I was driving, so I couldn't look at my paperwork, and I said, hold on, get me the transparency for this, and then I will see if I need the other one. So if it was closer to the 16%, maybe I wouldn't have asked, but because they were so,
shady,
against
shady about it.
and
Yeah.
when I learned what was happening and they were in an uproar, I said, okay, I'm going to ask for the rest of them then. So then I started asking for the rest of them, and I asked for 15 more. I asked for the span of the last 3 years I did work with them because federal regulations allow me to request the last 3 years if I wanted
Yeah.
to. So I did, and then another investigator got on the team on this complaint, and the old one that got me, the first broker transparency, he was off the case. So now a new one was on the case, and I did not get the rest of it. They told me that we're going to get it for you. We're going to see what they say back and forth. It went on for like 3 months.
That way they can change
something
the
like that.
numbers and before you
I
get
don't
them,
know
or
what they were
so
doing.
did you ever
All
get
done
it?
Any of this stuff yet, where you can request it and get it, or
You're supposed to get it, but because I'm the first one, I'm crashing through the ceiling.
oh yeah,
I'm learning along the way what they want. So I'm a speaker, so I'm going to talk a lot. And when you're writing your complaint, you can't do that. You got to get straight to the point. I want broker transparency for this load. I hauled on this day from point A to point B, and that's it. So what a lot of people were probably doing was writing a soap opera, and then at the end it said XYZ. So when the investigators are seeing this, they are just paying attention to the beginning of it, and then they are like chucking it. So I had to ask for them to reopen it, and then they did. Then I asked for the other 15. And what happened after that is that they said, oh, we're going to send you your paperwork. So I got a zip file that was all the paperwork I gave them. I was like, this is my BOL. This is my rate confirmation. This is my scale ticket, my lumper receipt. I don't need this. You know what I'm asking for. So then they sent me a letter. Later on, they told me, the investigator said, oh, they're not going to give it to you because you waived your right. I said, I waived my right in the first one. Why would that be different for the other 15? That's arbitrary and capricious right now because you already gave it to me. What is this stopping you from giving me the rest of them? So today I thought I would have the opportunity to ask Ms. Lawless, who is the acting director of FMCSA, and she was not even paying attention to me. And then she turned to me for a moment and she said, talk to my people. And I spoke to one of their people and I told them what I'm requesting, which is broker transparency for the additional 15 loads I did, that I already signed my waiver with the first one, but you guys found it like I found it to be arbitrary. You cannot deregulate yourself, and that's what these brokers are doing. They are deregulating themselves by making you sign a waiver, but you can't get that load unless you sign that waiver. And because these brokers are the larger brokers, you can't get that lane that you need. And one time I was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I had to actually drive to New York to get the next load because I was blacklisted from that prior broker in that
So nobody
brokerage.
wants to talk to you anymore, do they?
I can't even call them.
Well, I'm gonna tell
I
you what.
can't even call them.
I have the solution for you. A gentleman we spoke to earlier.
Yeah.
The Justin Liu.
Justin, who's that?
They are doing reverse brokering
Okay.
to where you don't deal with a broker, you deal right with the customer.
Okay. I like
And
that
they're
idea.
teaching truck drivers how to do away
Brokers.
The
come to
brokers.
you.
not brokers, the
The
shippers
customers come to me.
come to you. They're starting sort of, I wouldn't call it a load board.
Yes.
It's a reverse load board.
Right. Correct.
You're letting them know what equipment you have, where you're at,
And what
and
you can
stuff.
do.
And them shippers, okay, I need this many trucks. Okay, this one, this one, this one.
Right.
And there's no money out of it. You're getting all of it.
Okay.
He's been doing it for
2 years.
2 years now. They've started
It's
it
successful. I
They
need to
started
get
it
his
5 years ago.
contact information.
I have it with
You
me.
gotta give it.
That's why we're here to help.
And
That's
you know
why
share
we're
stuff.
here.
Right here. It's probably an extra card right there
Well,
on
there's
top.
nothing new about an anti. I say anti.
And tell
I
them.
can't think of a better word.
got one?
I know I have one
Anti-broker
here. No, they.
uh,
Let me see it.
environment.
No.
Or,
Yes.
you know, I
Oh.
think we're starting to see a little bit of do something about it
Mm.
that perhaps hasn't.
And the fight is not over. I'm still fighting, and the main problem here is that if you don't give me that broker transparency, I can't prove you breached my contract,
I don't
which
think
is
they
what I'm
give us
trying to
one.
prove, which I can prove if I got that information. And I can't move forward. And truckers don't know this, but you only have 18 months
There you go.
to make that claim with that bond company. And even if you do it the last minute, at least you can toll your time to make that claim later on in a court if the bond company isn't going to be in your favor or gives you any kind of riffraff. But, their bond company is, I'm dealing with them now, and they don't really make that decision. I feel like they kind of let these brokers decide what they want. And it's not just their bond company, but other bond companies. And it's not until you're really pushing them and telling them, listen, I have all the evidence. I don't have to prove anything more. I don't have to give you my scale ticket that I was overweight. I have the BOL. You said in the rate confirmation you're giving me 1,000 pounds. Then don't give me 1,500 pounds. You got to pay for the extra weight, and I'm constantly fighting them. We're all constantly fighting them. And I never had to ask for broker transparency before. I've been doing this for a while. But this broker did not see how valuable of a carrier that I am. And I needed to let him know, I'm Pink Cheetah. You don't do that to me. You're not going to
Well,
do
I
that
will
to the people who know me.
When we get done here, I'll let you take a picture of this.
Yeah.
It's called Truckpedia.
Okay,
Is the company, and it has their information on here.
great.
I need to
will
keep
definitely-
that, but I'll let you take a
Yes.
picture of it.
I will
But
take a
get a
photo
hold of this
after.
guy. And
Yes.
what he was saying was just like they should have been doing this 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Because I can remember myself and stuff being at truck stops, looking at the load boards,
Yes.
and I said it's pretty much reverse brokerage, isn't it? He's like, yeah, with no
Yeah.
broker. So what these brokers are getting from a shipping company, say they're getting 800 and they're paying you 600. Now you can get the whole 800.
Now they
you know
get
what
the
I
full
mean?
thing.
You're getting rid of the middleman,
Yes.
pretty much.
And right now I'm learning, and we have solid proof because one of these brokers, not brokers, she was a carrier with contract authority. The problem here is that she was doing business with other brokerages, and those brokers weren't checking whether she has contract or common authority. So because they didn't check, they were giving her loads, and she's only supposed to get loads that she finds directly from the shipper. So she was getting loads, let's say, from XYZ. XYZ was getting it from 123, and 123 was getting
Oh,
it
double.
from,
Yeah,
and now it's
double,
double,
triple
triple, quadruple brokering.
Yep, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
brokers that have it right in their paperwork. It says you cannot redistribute this load.
Right.
You are the one that has to haul it.
Yeah.
And she failed.
Contract, yeah.
You know how she failed and how we found out? She gave that broker
She-
the carrier the paperwork and the string of emails that came from every broker before with their own loads and everything. And
Uh,
right now, she has 6 days left to turn herself in to the New Jersey State Police. She's being
Crazy.
arrested.
You see, Are you from Jersey?
I'm not from Jersey, New York.
New York?
New York.
This gentleman, he said he's from Jersey. He's got real thick New York
I'm
accent.
a New Yorker, but I live in Florida and New York. I go back and forth.
Well, we had a gal here that was from Australia.
Oh,
They came from
my
Australia.
family lives there.
And
The people
came
from
to New York, and she's got a New York accent with Australian. It's different to listen to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
the lady with the red boots yesterday. That her
Oh, it was
husband
from was it Queensland or
where were they from? Finland,
Belgium.
Belgium?
Belgium. Yeah,
Belgium.
they
Oh,
just come by a
that's
little bit ago again.
Oh,
So
yeah. And then we had a gentleman here from Britain.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Thick
They're
accent.
coming from all
thick,
over.
Thick,
yeah,
thick.
we're having them every.
We
We're
had a bu-
international
We had
now.
a bunch of gentlemen
Woo.
from London last year stop and see us.
So,
I haven't checked. Is there a lot of brokers here for this show?
No, I haven't seen.
It's odd, isn't it?
They're not
what?
going to come here.
Well, I mean, they're
Well, I've gone up to a few of them. I've
Here's
gone up
mostly
to a few of them.
recruiting.
C.H. Robinson owes me money, so I went up to them at the show and I told them I would like to get paid. I went to them last year. They're just like going back and forth, whatever. So I said, you know what?
We
I'd
don't
like
know
my
nothing
broker
about that. You need to
transparency.
talk to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told
Well,
them.
the
I said,
person
okay,
that-
while I'm here, I'm gonna write, and I
Trade
want
show
my
guy
broker
don't know nothing
transparency.
about the billing. we
Yeah.
have to call
person you need to talk to is on
Is-
vacation.
Yeah, for like a year. So I'm going to work on still doing this. Right now, when that person gets arrested, that's when we'll be telling everybody this person got arrested. If you're doing any loads with them, how they were scheming. She's got a fraud felony coming after her because if anybody is leasing a truck or a trailer and they say you're leasing it from us, but we're doing the favor because you don't have the credit or you don't have the contact, we're going to get it from XYZ trailer company. We're going to charge you $150, but the actual amount is just $100. So every time it equals up that $50 extra, once it gets to $500, now you're in problem. So she's got issues with that, and that was theft by deception. That's a count that she has against her. And then she took the carriers, that the owner operator's money for the deposit, saying that there was XYZ broken on it, and it wasn't. So she's lying, and then she's stopping that person from furthering another place of employment because they said, well, it came back that you just left and you did that. But he didn't. And he got that all erased right now. But this is what we're up against, people that are lying like this. And these carriers that are contract carriers are in cahoots with these brokers because either they're negligent or they should have known that they're working with someone that has a contract carrier agreement instead of a common carrier agreement because you can't haul and give that load back away to somebody. But the reason why it dwindles down is because someone's taking a piece of the pie or sticking their hand in that cookie jar right before you get that rate.
You think there's a culture of high pressure in their line of work?
I think that it's very easy to move freight, and the only pressure they have is trying to sell it for the lowest amount of money. There's no shortage, and I'll tell you this, I'll repeat again. There's no shortage in my world of I'm on the road. There's no shortage of truck drivers. Okay, we're parked up at the truck stop. There's no shortage. They don't have it hard. I think that, and what I suggested to the FMCSA yesterday is I'm a contractor also in New York and in Connecticut. And in Connecticut, if we follow their model, where if you're a broker, if you're a contractor, you have to get licensed. So in FMCSA, the broker has to get licensed. But they're only checking the broker. What about the minions? They're soldiers that are giving you the loads. You know what were the best people to work for me to telemarket? People who came out of jail. They're hustlers. I gave them second chances, and this is what is probably behind the phone call when you're trying to get a load, and they're not going to give it to you for XYZ. And somebody even made a podcast, a video the other day that, listen, people are coming out of prison and they're getting hired and they're taking XYZ amount of money, and that's it. You're not going to get any money. So I said, why? I suggested to FMCSA, you should investigate the person who is going to talk about money, because anybody who's going to do that is licensing, making an agreement, and why don't they have to have a license? It's like saying the doctor has to have the license, but his friends that just want to work with him want to like start making an operation on somebody. I mean, how are you going to do it? You have to be licensed also. You should be licensed. So I suggested that to them. And last year and this year, I re-suggested to them that they need to be audited. They're never audited. Why is that? This industry is only out to get truckers to be regulated, to be fined, to be in violations, and nobody's paying us. They want to say there's freight out there, there's lots of money. Absolutely not. There is money, and then they're taking it, and then the next person takes it, and the next person takes it. By the time I get it, I could pay for half of my phone bill that week, and then the next half, I got to make a
Yep.
deal with T-Mobile so they don't shut off my phone because that's the most important bill. you know, so that's what I'm fighting and I'm up against. But I am not going to give up. And no, I don't stand down for anyone. Yesterday, they tried to talk to me and tell me, hey, why are you fighting? They don't ask you your rates. They don't ask you your margins. I was like, because it's
Couldn't afford
zero.
me.
It's zero. How about we
Yeah,
start that
yeah.
conversation over, Stilly? So
Well, I hope you win your fight. I'm glad you stopped by to talk to us today. It's very insightful.
We will
Thank you.
shed the word.
Share the
We'd love
word.
to
Thank
have-
you
thank
so
you for
much
having you.
for having me, guys. I appreciate
I
it. Have a
cannot
happy
believe
birthday. I don't do my nails.
The
I don't have
toes
time for
don't
my
match
nails.
the toes.
Oh, I just finally did my nails because my friend from
Pink,
school told
come
me he's tired of
on.
seeing my nails not painted. So I
Have you
tried.
got
and I got tired.
website, email, some
Yeah.
kind of
You can
present?
find me on Instagram, Pink
There you
Cheetah
go.
Express, PinkCheetah Express, as well as on Facebook. And YouTube, I'm hardly on there. It's whenever I get a chance I go on. I'm not really 100% always on there, but that's where you
Me
can
neither.
find me. And if anybody you know comes here that's a driver and has any problem, tell them to contact me, and I will help, make that way,
good.
that path for them to
It's
get
like I'm
paid.
going to help you right here.
People
We
are
pass
scared of me
information
now.
along.
Thank
Take a
you
picture
so
of
much.
that.
I'm going to do that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's try and see if we